My name is Eileen Finan. I'm the Project Manager at Lus Na Greine Family Resource Centre here in North Longford. We were delighted to receive funding under the What Works initiative. We applied for funding to do some research and upskill our team and to bring that knowledge to our Midlands region on reducing the impact of parental conflict that is prolonged, frequent and unresolved on the lives of children. We see at the front line the impact that such conflict has on the lives of children. You get only one childhood. Out of this funding, we had a wish to improve our own practice, to upskill ourselves and to do some research to see how we can support parents better. It's that prolonged, frequent and unresolved conflict that we were really interested in tackling. We had many case studies to bring to our practice, and we learned a lot. While there is a body of research done in London and in different places, there is less research in Ireland on the topic. And as family support practitioners, we feel it's a very relevant topic to be discussed. We learned a lot about empathy, about not associating blame, about non-being judgmental, all the core values that we have in our practice anyway. But we look then at the destructive relationships that conflict causes, and we looked at what we can do to help parents to be more constructive. Communication, connection, building understanding, building bridges, talking it out, working it out, to stop, to think. All of those were really key learnings for us, and it has been a tremendous success. We have little tips and tools. We have a lot of literature we're sharing with our fellow practitioners in other family resource centres, particularly here in the Midlands. We hope that this video will give you some insight into the learning. And we're very grateful that we got the funding to tackle this issue. Thank you.
She's always been a very good kid, very good student, excellent marks all the time, yeah. And for the last couple of months or so, she's been getting into trouble at school, and the teachers just keep ringing me almost on a daily basis. If it's not a fight, it's just she's answering back.
Right. And has there been any changes in her life, you know, in those three? Did something happen at home or?
Things at home are not great at the moment. Her dad and I are going through a bit of a phase. We're just not getting along anymore.
And how does she react around that situation if something's happening?
I know sometimes if we're just happen to fight in front of her, she'd just take her phone and just go to her room and just slam the door shut.
Right, yeah. Is one parent more the parent than the other, or?
I've always felt like I was more the parent. More, you know, the one that had to lay down the rules and everything around the house, and he's always been the cool dad.
Impact on children going forward is, you know, can affect them academically, physically, and we also had a conversation about communication with parents and how important that is.
Yeah, and that's really important, I think.
Yeah, because it can be, you know, become a generational thing. So obviously the children that are witnessing what's going on in the home, if there's conflict, they can carry that on into their relationships. So then obviously if you get the intervention in earlier, that will prevent that escalating.
Yeah.
Well, I went through the report that you asked me to succuss down, and I went through it in great detail. And the thing for me, and I suppose because it's the work that psychotherapists are involved in.
This is the piece of research and the research work that we did, yes.
Yeah. As a psychotherapist, you're focused on solutions.
Yes.
Okay, because to me, there's no point in rehashing the problem that brought you there in the first place. So the report that I saw was a really in-depth report and full of good stuff, but it highlighted the problem areas. What I wanted to do was to highlight what do we do now, where do we go from there? And stitched throughout the entire report was the power of communication, the power of connecting, the way to deal with the problem as it's presented. The positive communication has to chip through into that, because the thing that's forgotten in this war seems to be the child.
Recently, where parents of twins who are living apart have the communion day coming up, and Mum came to me yesterday to say that the conflict has started again. Dad isn't answering her phone and there's a lot of stuff around that, but the children are sort of part of the conflict now because Dad had sent her a text and she hadn't responded when he thought she should have. The communion isn't until the end of May, and he said he was going to give her 2 hours. It was his access with the kids, so he was going to give her 2 hours on the communion day. He is very upset.
I suppose really empathy is key when she, definitely.
She needs a lot of that at the minute. She's so distraught.
I'd say she's in complete turmoil and not knowing where to turn and what to do. Communication, I think, is something that they both probably could do better.
Yeah.
But maybe it has gone so far now that they need to be maybe addressed individually,
Yeah.
that, this is not healthy for the children.
They're both this caught in the middle between two parents.
So happy for them.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah.
actually broken down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Rory doing some work with them as well.
Yeah.
As you said, maybe individually speak to the parents.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
As Sharon said earlier as well, to have a program that people can come to you and ask for the help instead of targeting just a parent or a family and being like, there's conflict here. So because then parents can get frightened and, like, oh, why are you attacking me? Offensive. So a program, to that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, nobody knows when they're going to be in that situation. Conflict can happen overnight, you just don't know. So I think to have that awareness and
Conflict is natural, it's normal, it happens, but it's resolved, it's quick.